The main event of UFC 295 has been scrapped. Jon Jones has injured himself and is now out of the fight versus Stipe Miocic, which has seen the UFC scramble for a short notice replacement fight. They have gone with the backup fighter, Sergei Pavlovich, taking on Tom Aspinall for the interim heavyweight title. This is a massive game changer for the heavyweight division, and I believe is going to usher in a new era of heavyweights and is going to be an out with the old and in with the new. First and foremost, I think it's a bit weird what's going on with Jon Jones. I think they should have stripped him from the title, which I think, yes, from a marketing and PR perspective is a bad move, but an interim title is just going to logjam the division because Stipe Miocic and his career is up in the air. And when he comes back, the rumour is he's going to fight for undisputed gold versus Jon Jones. So why the heck is this an interim title fight? It makes no sense. This, to me, is crowning the new heavyweight champion of the world. And when Jon Jones returns, he has to fight the winner of this fight, if they don't obviously defend their interim heavyweight title since then, because he's going to be out for 9 months. So we're looking at about an August return for Jon Jones. So we're expecting a defence by then. So I just think this fight should be for vacant heavyweight gold. That being said, this is an interesting matchup and an interesting turn of events and how it's come about. Sergei Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. Let's do the breakdown of the kind of attributes and whatnot. So Sergei Pavlovich, 18-1 in his MMA career, 18 wins, 1 losses, and 13 wins, 3 losses for Tom Aspinall. Height 6'3" for Sergei Pavlovich and 6'5" for Tom Aspinall. So the taller guy, Tom Aspinall, but when he does fight, you see him, he's quite stood up straight. Weight, pretty similar, heavyweight division. Interesting, though he's 6'5", Tom Aspinall has a shorter reach at 78 inches, whereas Pavlovich has one of the longest reaches in the UFC's history at 84 inches. And leg reach is pretty much identical, but I don't think we'll see many leg kicks from both guys unless they're trying to set up something else. Let's look into recent careers of both guys. Interestingly, so Sergei Pavlovich joined the UFC and lost his debut to Alistair Overeem in an interesting fight where Overeem showed he could out-grapple Sergei Pavlovich. But since then, Sergei Pavlovich has done and gone on a run similar to Francis Ngannou. 6 first-round KO stoppages. And the last 3 were against tougher competition. He annihilated Derek Lewis, destroyed Tai Tuivasa and battered Curtis Blades, and done them in relative ease. So that's his kind of UFC career and career at the higher level. Tom Aspinall, on the other hand, joined the UFC in 2020, and similar kind of record, only 1 loss. He beat Jake Collier in the first round, Alan Bordeaux in the first round, beat Andrei Arlovsky in the second round by submission, stopped Sergey Spivak, submitted Alexander Volkov, and then had that knee injury loss to Curtis Blades, where he lost in 15 seconds, but recently returned in the main event of the London card and KO'd Marcin Tybura. Very similar records, and neither guy likes to spend long in the octagon, with, I think, combined between the two, 11 first-round finishes. This fight is a very interesting matchup, though. One of the major factors, short notice. We just saw Alex Volkanovski step off the couch. Yes, it was only 11 days. Tom Aspinall's got 3 weeks to turn up, but we saw what happened when he turned up against a short notice replacement. And Pavlovich was going to be the backup fighter for this fight. So if Stipe or Jon Jones got injured, he was going to be the backup fighter, meaning he's been training this whole time. So that is a huge factor in this fight. Another huge factor of this fight is going to be, is Tom Aspinall ready? And I'm not saying he's not a tremendous fighter. If anything, I'm not predicting him, but I'm backing him, you know what I mean, to win, Englishman and whatnot. But he's just come off that knee injury, and we saw in that fight, yes, he did throw some kicks against Marcin Tybura, but is he fully recovered and ready to go at the highest level? And even he has said in interviews and whatnot that he has doubts about himself and doubts over what he can do. But then obviously he shakes him off and then goes out there and proves himself wrong. And he said it on multiple interviews now. Pavlovich, I feel, just doesn't have any doubts. He knows, I'm going to steamroll through anyone who stood in front of me, no matter if it's John Jones, Tom Aspinall, Derek Lewis, whoever, and I'm going to smash your head into the first row. You know what I mean? So it's one of those ones. It's a weird fight like that, but there is that ace card. Tom Aspinall has great wrestling for a heavyweight and fantastic jiu-jitsu. So if he can get Pavlovich to the ground, it could be a rough night for Pavlovich, especially if he can lock up a submission. He submitted, obviously, Alexander Volkov and Andrei Arlovsky. So against Russians, he's got a couple of submissions. So with Volkov, but yeah, it's an interesting fight. If I'm gonna have to predict it, I don't think it goes to a decision. I think someone will find the finish, and I'm torn. I either feel it's going to be a Tom Aspinall submission win, or Pavlovich is going to knock his head off, and that's how it's going to go. The one thing that I think Tom Aspinall, because he stands up so straight, Pavlovich has got such a long reach that if he clips him, it's night-night for Tom Aspinall, and it's night-night for anyone in this division if Pavlovich connects. Not saying Tom Aspinall can't KO Pavlovich, it's just not as likely because he's just, I don't know, it's just similar to Francis Ngannou. It doesn't make sense. He just goes in there, lands a punch, and somebody's gone to sleep. It's as simple as that. If I was Tom Aspinall, I would waste no time on the feet. I wouldn't even want to trade with this guy. And if you're going to wrestle, I would no double legs, because the power of Pavlovich will be strong enough to stuff a double leg, but it's going to be single legs and trips that you're going to expect from Tom Aspinall. Clinch him up against the cage. Space is your worst enemy against Pavlovich. If he's got that range to land the bombs, that's terrible. Tom Aspinall wants to cover the range, clinch him, push him back against the fence, and look for trips and takedowns and grind this out, make this an ugly fight. Tom Aspinall needs to make this an ugly fight because he needs to become world champion. It's as simple as that. Pavlovich, on the other hand, just bull train him and just run at him and just KO him and put him to sleep, and it's as simple as that. But the one thing neither guy has shown, obviously at the highest level, is their cardio. This is a 5-round fight, and yes, both have been booked for 5-round fights before, but they've never had to go the full 5 rounds, so we don't know how they will compete in the later rounds. If I was going to guess who has the better cardio, I would go Tom Aspinall, just because guys with a lot of power have to use a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers, and it saps the gas tank a lot quicker. Whereas Tom Aspinall, on the other hand, he's a bit slow twitch. He's got power, but he's a bit slow twitch. He's more like a grappler. So if Tom can get it past the 3rd round and he can grapple, you can grind out a decision win, similar to Stipe did against Francis Ngannou in the first fight. And that's how, if Tom Aspinall was looking at this, weather that early storm, get to the 2nd, get to the 3rd round and just wrestle him and just drown him and just don't let him be. If you're Pavlovich, that 1st round, run at him and just try and take his head off, because that's what you're going to have to do to get the win. Prediction-wise, my heart says Tom Aspinall wins by submission. My head says Sergei Pavlovich KOs him and puts him to sleep. If I'm going to have to put... I don't know. It's such a hard to predict fight, I think. Which is credit to the UFC for putting this fight on short notice, which kind of takes away from Tom Aspinall's chances of winning. But also, it shows us there's fresh blood in this heavyweight division now. We're moving forward from this old era where we were stuck with DC and Stipe. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy that trilogy, but we were just stuck with that for a bit. Francis was trying to usher in the new era of heavyweights against Cyril Gane, but then he was out for a year with an injury and we never made a vacant belt on money issues and whatnot. And then John Jones came in, and then we thought it was going to get fresh, and then now he's got injured. And he was ready to retire anyway, apparently, after the Stipe fight. So we're kind of at a place now where the heavyweight division can move on. And if I'm honest, the UFC just make this vacant heavyweight gold a title fight for vacant heavyweight gold, because I feel like both guys would be active champions as well, which is a brilliant thing for us fans, because for years now, one heavyweight title fight a year, and it's just boring. This is supposed to be the premier division in the UFC for so many years, and is the one division in the UFC which has the most lineage in history. So keep it that way. We want an active champion. That being said, Sergei Pavlovich, I'm predicting is going to KO him and be that active champion next year and have 2 or 3 title defenses. I think Tom Aspinall won't be able to handle the power that Pavlovich will have coming his way, and will KO him in the first round. And it's sad to say this because I'm a big fan of Tom Aspinall's, but I just think right now, Tom Aspinall, let me just check how old he is, because is he still young? So Pavlovich is 31. Aspinall is 30. So both relatively young for heavyweight. Heavyweights obviously are much older usually when they kind of hit their prime and whatnot. I hope he wins, but I don't think this is Aspinall's time yet. And he's got time to grow as a fighter. He's only 30. He'll only get better with the years to go on with experience. Like, this is a huge fight. And fighting at MSG, I don't even think he's fought in America. Let me have a look, actually. Oh, he has fought in... Aspinall did fight in America, but he's had 3 London main events. So going to New York, MSG, the pressure. He's talked about the pressure getting to him before, and I just don't think he will get to Pavlovich, which is why I think first round KO. What's your guys' predictions? Put it down in the comments below. I want Tom Aspinall to win, but I just can't predict him to win. But that being said, we hope you enjoyed this video. Check out our prediction for Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prohaska. And we should have a new video coming out soon, which is the top 10 undefeated streaks in MMA, which came to an end. Or it might already be out, I'm not sure. But we're going to try and do more regular uploads and more kind of videos like this, prediction videos, face cam kind of style videos for the fight franchise. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. And please like, comment and subscribe. Help us grow this channel, because I want to make it kind of more for you guys as well. I want to start a podcast and do other things as well. So we hope you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.